Walter Day, the star of arcades and love songs, the Ballad of Walter Day, and the King of Kong. How are you doing, Walter?
Good.
Can you tell us a little about your movie?
Well, it's an interesting story. I guess we only have 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I have to be very exact in this. So 40 years ago, I fell in love with a glamorous woman, and somehow that didn't work out, and she broke my heart. And a couple of weeks after she broke my heart, I started hearing music, just like I was listening to a radio station inside my head, inside my heart, and the music to me at that time was so beautiful that I was completely enraptured by it. And I vowed that someday I wanted other people to hear this music and that someday I'd get up on the stage and I'd act, even though I wasn't a singer and had no pretensions of ever becoming a singer, I vowed that someday I'd get up on the stage and I'd sing that music and people would hear the songs I was hearing. And I heard the music come up for years and years, and I wrote it down and sang it into a tape recorder, and 138 songs came out. And I never, I always hoped something would come out of it, but I never dreamed that necessarily it would. And 20 years later, The King of Kong happened. And I talked to the King of Kong producers about how much I really wanted to get out of being the king of video games, being the father of esports, that kind of stuff, and go and do my music. And they liked the music that I played on my acoustic guitar, and they put it in the music, and they never forgot that. And then 20 years after that, well, yeah, almost 20 years after that, some people walked out of a crowd at a big event and said, "We remember you from the King of Kong. Whatever happened to that music?" And I said, "I still have it as the dream thing I want to do." And they were wealthy. And on the spot, they decided, we're going to make your album as a gift. And so when the producers of The King of Kong from all those years before learned that the music was actually going to happen, they said, this is a story. And that's how the Arcades and Love Song story happened.
Yeah, it's such a great story. So out of those 138 songs, how many are you planning on recording?
Well, we've recorded 10. Nine of them are in what we'll call complete, but I would like to do another one of 10 more songs soon because the songs are just living in me and they want to come out.
Yeah.
And one of the themes in the story that didn't get brought out in the movie only because they didn't have time is that I'm in Fairfield, Iowa, where there's 10,000 people here, and 4,000 of them practice transcendental meditation. So when I practice transcendental meditation, that music becomes even more livelier and clearer and seems to have more of a life because TM is everybody knows it helps you develop your creativity. And so I want to really bring that music out. It's that every time I meditate, the songs come in and it seems like I want to really express them. So I would like to do another album of 10 songs.
Nice. And do you plan on doing a tour?
Oh, well, I think so. I'm 75, and I don't know if I can actually go on the road in any serious way because it's kind of wearing,
Yeah.
kind of wearing,
Yeah.
going out and trashing hotel rooms and stuff like
And I mean, you're a great speaker, but getting in front of a crowd for the first time, like you do in the movie, to get up and sing, what did that feel like?
Well, the well, first of all, because I was playing this role as the father of esports for so many years, I used to being in front of crowds. However, I was completely in deep water, completely, completely out of my. I think I even said in that movie. I'm completely out of my comfort zone because, I think a lot of people. I think it's probably one of people's biggest fears, having to speak in front of people and then having to sing in front of people. That was that was so extreme that I was kind of worried. Mainly, I was worried, am I going to remember my lyrics? Like, I talk about Taylor Swift in the movie. She can remember all the words to over 200 songs. It's unbelievable. I was stressed. Am I going to remember the words to three songs? That was one of my biggest worries, that will I remember the lyrics while under the psychological, emotional pressure of being in front of people, many of them, some of them strangers, and singing the songs. So I was I was really I was really faced with a lot of potential colic stress, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. But besides Taylor Swift, who would be a dream collaboration for you?
Um, well, I consider Taylor. See, the thing about Taylor Swift brought up in the movie, um, uh, I had just discovered her just barely like a month before we started filming that, and this was before the Eras tour had happened. You know, before she blew up into being what she is now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around trying to find music as examples of good songwriting so I can reflect on it for my own art, you know. And I discovered, and I said, wow, this is really good songwriting. And so, like, I knew she existed, but I didn't know anything about her. And so that's why when I got up on the stage there, I gushed so innocently that, do you know who she is? You know, something like that, because I was so surprised. But, uh, well, you know, there's many classic songwriters out there like Carole King and um, but the one who seems to be dominating the whole cultural landscape, of course, is Taylor Swift right now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do more research, so I'll have a better answer next time someone asks me. So I'll have I like this person this week.
Um, so you mentioned you've been called the father of esports. What started your love of gaming?
Well, I've already mentioned that I practice transcendental meditation, and based on the studies they've done on it, it increases your creativity and your intelligence, also removes stress from your body, and unfolds your full mental potential. So I was already intrigued by the idea of full mental potential being developed and unfolded. So when I fell in love with video games, I became very intrigued in the people who were the champions. What makes a person a champion? And so I started monitoring and looking at high scores on video games, trying to just get a sense of what is it that separates them from everybody else, that they're because the eye-hand coordination, the mind-body coordination, the fast reaction time, the people who are the champions were a whole cut above everybody else. And so I just started monitoring the scores, and next thing I know, the scoreboard that I had started called the Twin Galaxy scoreboard became the official scoreboard for the whole world of video game playing. And so people would come to my arcade, Twin Galaxies in Ottumwa, Iowa, to prove themselves there and perform their best games and their highest scores there because it became the mecca of the video game world. It became the Dodge City of video game playing, where the fastest guns of the video game world would come there to compete and show off their skills. And so, because that was the first time anybody did that and organized competitive video game playing into an organized sport, it established Twin Galaxies and me by default as the history's first esports organization. And that's why it's considered the birth of organized competitive esports in Ottumwa, Iowa, where Twin Galaxies was, and also me being the founder, the father of esports.
Yeah. So what do you think it is that makes someone like Billy Mitchell such a great champion? Is it the concentration, or what do you think?
Well, according to scientists, it's the hair.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta love that mullet. Yes.
I think technically it's not a mullet, but it's so close
Uh,
to mullet that
yeah,
everybody gets away with saying it's a mullet.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, Billy, Billy has a high energy level, a high level of intelligence, huge motivation, and he's just eye-hand coordination, fast reaction time, all those things together. Plus, he never gives up. He'll play again and again and again and again and again and again until he masters it. He just never gives up until he masters it. So that's probably why he's the prototypical video game champion.
Yeah. Uh, Did you have any favorite games when you were
Oh yeah,
playing?
oh yeah. For a short period of time, I was the world champion on Make Tracks. Make Tracks, TRAX is how they spell tracks, and it came out in 1981 by Williams Electronics. And in early 1982, I was temporarily the champion of the world. And also, I was real good at Centipede.
Nice. Uh, do you have any funny stories about Billy Mitchell? You guys seem to be close.
Um, I'm trying to think which one I can say without getting in a lawsuit. That's a joke. Uh, I didn't come equipped with a joke. A
That's
story
all right.
about Bobby.
That's all right. That's all right. So you know, in the movie, you know, you reconnect with the love of your life, Shane. Are you still in touch with her?
Oh yeah. We live in the same small town, but we didn't see each other for years at a time. And it's funny, all those years when I would talk about the love of my life breaking my heart, I would never tell people who she is. So when I talk about the King of Kong and everything else, I would never mention her name simply because I didn't want to put her on the spot and expose her or anything like that. And so we rebonded as close friends, almost like brothers and sisters. So some people ask, "Are you guys back together?" And the answer sort of is at the ages we're both in our 70s, so we're probably not going to run off to Las Vegas together.
Yeah. Well, that's great. You guys still talk. So after the King of Kong came out, how did your life change?
Well, it was like being in a glass fishbowl, just so much attention on us and so much controversy, so many different people arguing and fighting about things, and it's like it started. You know how there's a tendency just for people to just kind of like be at odds with each other on the internet.
Yeah.
So it almost like started that. Just interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is. Um, so what's next for you?
Music. Gonna try music and also do my darndest to survive. Whatever this is, because I'm in a small town. I've been here for 45 years, and to me, it's well. First of all, um, maybe I have some self doubts. Well,
Uh-oh, I think
Uh,
Walter.
okay. So Walter, your story is just so inspirational to never give up your dreams, you know. And I love that you also do meditation. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
um, well, it's people are fun, and I'm glad that people like this movie as a fun experience because it's at a time like when we showed the movie in Long Beach. The manager of the theater came up to our producer Ed Cunningham, who you may have talked to. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
and she said to him, "Thank you, thank you, thank you for making a positive movie about good people because all the people in our movie are doing their best to be good and just make a fun, good experience for everybody else." So, so far, all the reviews that I've seen about this movie have been very sweethearted and respectful. And that's really, really important at a time when society and culture is so jaded and so angry and everything like that. So, anyway, thank you for your part of recognizing the good intentions of this movie and the fact that it's really an inspirational tale because um, it's kind of funny as they developed the movie and the movie was written, there were so many moving parts to it that it was a Herculean effort for Ed and Michael Nichols, who did the main writing, the main plot line writing, to just make all the parts work together so that everything. Um, to be frank with you, when I first saw the first iteration of the movie, I thought this is going to bore everybody. But then when they rewrote it, because when they began to understand the parts more fully, when they rewrote it so that everything actually fit together in its most proper fashion, I was amazed by the movie. And when I saw it in Long Beach, I said, "My God, this is a fun movie, and it's a funny movie too, because there's a lot of lines that make people laugh."
yeah,
But but the most amazing thing is, and probably one of the most important things in a person's life this has made me so when I'm watching this, I'm so vulnerable. Like I'm completely on display, completely open. There's no protection anywhere. I'm just completely out there being real me, and everybody else is being real them. And we're just trusting in the love and kindness of other people to respectfully respect our story. Doesn't that make sense?
It does, and you'll see a great review from me on Film Threat. But one more thing I was curious about. There was talk years ago of a scripted version of the King of Kong happening. Who would you have liked to have played you?
Well, they actually talked with me about that at the time, and there were like six different people who actually were in the running to be me. Can I remember who they are? I remember Tom Cruise was asked to play Billy. Allegedly, Billy said, or Tom said, only Billy can play Billy. But Paul Giamatti was asked
Oh,
to play me.
oh, that would be great.
I think Bill Murray was asked to play me,
Wow.
which I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah,
There was a handful of names, but I just can't remember who they are anymore.
yeah. That's great. That's great. Um, so arcades and love songs, the Ballad of Walter Day, that's in theaters, in select theaters now, correct? Uh,
I believe so. I believe so. They're rolling it out even as we speak.
all right. Thank you, Walter. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Jason.